What is up, everybody? Smooth here, and today we have another Pantheon video. And of course, as I mentioned previously, Pantheon and Xin Zhao are two of my go-to picks as of right now. And right here, Rengar did manage to pick up a kill in the mid lane, but Garen does a fantastic job of rotating over, and it allows us to pick up the kill on Rengar. So recently, I have been playing a lot of Pantheon. He probably is my second most played jungle pick character right now behind Rengar, because for Rengar, I'm still trying to complete the Mastery 7. I honestly think as soon as I complete that, Rengar probably will be off my to-play list, I have to say. As right here, we ultimated to the Baron lane and we managed to pick up another kill versus Pantheon. But two of the main reasons that I'm really enjoying Pantheon as of right now is his third ability and then his first ability. And I swap between Pantheon and Xin Zhao a lot. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing his name wrong. I have looked up some videos, but for whatever reason I'm having trouble pronouncing his name, Xin Zhao. But I mainly go to Pantheon more, mainly because I find it easier for Pantheon to secure objectives, because with Xin Zhao, the only ability you have that hurts minions is his ultimate. But with Pantheons, you can line up your first ability when its HP is like 1100, and if it is below like 50% or 30%, you will crit it, right? So with Pantheon, I'm really enjoying that because it allows you to, line up your smite and then your first ability really well. So it helps you secure the objectives very, very well. And for me, that's what I really enjoy with certain legends and characters. As right here we reset it and then we come to the duo lane. We managed to pick up another kill on Rengar. The Inferno Drake is up, so Twisted Fate did a good job of starting it already. So right here we just come up, and you're pretty much gonna see me do it with almost every objective. Is I max out my passive, as you can see right here, and I wait for it just to have enough health where I can combine my first ability and smite together, and we can secure the objectives nice and easy. Because it's kind of like a guarantee, like 300 damage. Give or take that, objectives do have armor, so you're not gonna get the maximum amount of damage that it actually says. But you're probably gonna get a good 330 to around 300. So if you line it up nicely, your first ability and your smite can do a good amount of like 1000 to 1100 damage, especially in the late game. But this was an absolute intense game, a very close game, very competitive game. As right here I'm just kind of looking around to ultimate, so I ultimate. And then I immediately see Rengar, so I just jump on Rengar, stun him, and we managed to pick up the kill on Rengar. But Pantheon's utility is something that I also really enjoy, because granted he does it is very difficult to play him, I would say, because he is overall very weak. If you have a very slow early to mid game. Characters like Shyvana, right? In the early to mid game, they're not that strong, but then in the late game, they provide so much for the team. But with Pantheon, it's kind of like in the mid game and early game, if you are slacking behind on your farm, if you don't pick up any kills or assists, then in the late game, you're gonna be very, I would just say useless to a certain point. The only good thing you have is probably your stun. As right there, we were kind of low on our HP, so we wanted to reset. The enemy team manages to pick up the Rift Herald. And right here, I noticed Jinx really low, so I just flash over stun. Vayne picks up another kill. And then right here, like I said, we managed to get a crit first ability on Rengar, so we secured the kill on Rengar. But this is an absolutely intense game. Very exciting. And you could honestly say, you know, maybe I hard carried, maybe I didn't. At the time, it felt like, you know, it was an absolute hard carry, because I was the only one able, like when I was in team fights or doing anything, you know, we were able to come out on top. As right here, just trying to look for another pick off maybe, as the Mountain Drake is spawning in another 20 seconds. And the first ability is a really good ability. But I would say Pantheon, you know, his utility is very simple to understand. Right, second ability stun, first ability damage, and then third ability is kind of like Fiora's riposte, where you just evade certain amount of damage. So it's a very good. His utility is very good for, you know, simple play styles. And I am kind of looking to try and make new builds. You know, I want to try to switch the builds up a little bit here and there. But the Black Cleaver is just, I think overall the Black Cleaver on Pantheon is probably a must-have, because every other first item I've tried, you know, Cyrilda's Grudge, I've tried Yumu's, I'm like, I really don't like that, because you just, if the game's not going well, then it's not going to be a fun time. But if you pick up the Black Cleaver, for some, you're going to have a little bit of, you know, better utility because of the health, and then the armor penetration, and then the ability haste is quite nice to have as well. But the Trinity Force on Pantheon is probably an item you probably don't want to get. Maybe if you want to explore, you definitely could try. But certain builds, the top Pantheon players that on my server that I've looked at, they all run, you know, Black Cleaver into Yumu's or Black Cleaver into Death Dance, you know, something like that. But Black Cleaver is an item that normally you would want to get on Pantheon. And right here, we're literally almost dead. But for some reason, I was like, you know what? If I die, you die too. So I just jumped right in, stun Ari, and we managed to pick up the kill. But in this game in general, we were backporting a lot because we had the ability haste rune. So we were kind of, our ultimate was up every, you know, 30-40 seconds max. So we kind of were just, you know, backporting because we had our ultimate. It really wasn't something to worry about to get into the team fight. So every opportunity we had where we could get an item or anything, we were just backporting. And as you can see, for some reason, it is still a very close game. We have 2 dragons, but overall a very close match, just 18-16. We do have a 4,000 team gold lead, but the enemy team is playing very well as well. But we had Vayne, and Vayne in the late game with the new items, you know, just like anything really, you just need to get, you know, a good start, good mid game, and the late game will be absolutely insane. And right here we just ultimate in, and Jinx is literally at 20 HP. Thankfully we managed to pick her up, and then Rengar gets a double kill on Vayne as well. But we start 1v1ing, but man, I gotta say that Rengar W, the heal, is really insane. Like, playing it, you don't really understand how good the ability is, but then when you play against it and the enemy Rengar uses it, you're like, oh my god. Like, you can do 500 damage to him, and then he uses his enhanced second ability, and then he heals all that back up. You're like, oh my god. You know, playing him, I never really noticed how annoying it is. But then when I played against him, I've been playing against him a lot recently because he's either banned or the enemy team picks him. Just like this game. And I was like, oh my god, man, this skill is annoying, huh? But we managed to pick up the Ocean Drake. And for the build this game, if you are wondering, the game ended before. So we have Black Cleaver, Sterox Gauge, Spirit Visage, and Gargoyles in the Stone Plate. So right here, Twisted Fate actually gets picked off. So the entire time we were kind of thinking, okay, they actually about right here, maybe when they start to disappear off the map, is kind of when I was like, okay, they might actually be doing Baron. And at the time I was pretty tanky, so So I was very confident. So right here, they all just, you know, start turning away. And I'm kind of thinking, okay, you know what? They might actually be going for Baron. So I'm kind of just hovering around, making sure. And as you can see right here, I'm pinging for it. So I'm like, okay, we gotta contest it, right? Because if they get it, our chances of losing might be really high. So right here, Twisted Fate used his ultimate, and at this moment I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going all in and hope for my team to follow. So we managed to ultimate in, steal the Baron Nashor, and then I just flash out right here, kind of because I was scared because we were the first ones in. So we were absorbing a lot of damage, but we managed to turn the team fight around. We stole the Baron Nashor, we win the team fight, and right here we managed just to push and end the game. So you could honestly say that I pretty much carried this game, but this is, you know, Pantheon if you manage to have a good early to mid game, like, because I've been playing him a lot, and if you struggle mid or early game, it's gonna be very, very difficult in the late game. You know, kind of like with every other legend, but these legends, they do struggle in particular. You know, if your early game and late game are not good. You know, very, very different to Shyvana, or you could even say Vi, because Vi in the late game is actually really, really useful because all she has to do is just ultimate on somebody, right? And then you can pick them off. But Pantheon, an absolute unit in this game. We managed to hard carry the team, you know, 6-1 and 16. You could pretty much say, you know, myself and Vayne hard carried the teammates. But stay safe, stay healthy, everybody. Peace.